Hello everyone, this is your Gemini January 2020 reading. Thanks for hopping on this video with me. My intention for this reading is to really kind of give you something for this year to ground. So I'm going to be using one tarot card from my Hermetic Tarot deck, pulling a card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes card guidebook, and then possibly a card from my little spell deck book. So really my intention for this is that you have a theme, an archetype, and some like spell or some spiritual practice to take away from this that can really help you kind of like center yourself amidst the 2020 energy. So yay. I'm a Gemini too, so this is for me too, so I'm super excited. This is for you if you're Gemini sun, moon, or rising. I'm a Gemini sun. Hey. Alright, so this is really the only tarot deck I've ever connected with, so I don't use it as a typical tarot deck. I just pull the card and I'm able to, because I really connect with the images, just channel a message from that card. So if you have something that you resonate with or don't resonate with, it's up to you. If you know a card and what it means and that resonates with you more, by all means, take that meaning. Like, no hard feelings. So let's just go ahead and start the reading by placing your hand over your heart, taking in a deep breath, and then just saying and knowing that you're going to take whatever resonates, release the rest, and that this reading is going to transform and help you to ground this energy of 2020 for your best life ever. Yay! Alright, so what is the January 2020 energy for the Geminis, sun, moon, and rising? If you guys knew what I had right now, like, this isn't a table, it's actually like my rebounder with a cute little tapestry over it. So, like, low-key, I was like, I want to sit outside, but I don't want to look weird, so I like wanted to have like a little something that looks like a table, and I was like, I'll just use my rebounder. That seems like it'll work. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands. I absolutely love this tarot deck. It's so pretty. Probably not able to zoom it in for you enough, but trust me, like, the channeling will be legit. So this card has this fierce woman. She has like battle gear on. Her hair is long and luscious. She has flames surrounding her. She's literally sitting on an image of what looks to be like a lion. She's holding this sphere, like a torch sphere, in her hand. She has two spheres next to her head, and like her hair is like, her scarf is just like a blazing behind her. And it's just this energy, like this carnal energy of fire, right? And it says Queen of the Thrones of Flame. And to me, what this is saying is that like we're in this transformational time. The two symbols that I'm seeing in here too is like the Pisces symbol and like two Aries symbol. So it's like we're in this time, Geminis, for January, where we're taking all of our spiritual insight and all of our spiritual power, because like this past year we've gained a lot of spiritual power, right? And it all has to do with like Gemini ding the mind. Like our claircognizant has been crazy. Our clair audience has been like really off the charts. And then now it's like to take that and to like apply it and to like really let it transform our life. Like she's sitting with these like balancing spheres surrounding her head. She's sitting amidst the fire, but she's got it under control, right? So something about like having spiritual wisdom that comes to you in your mind is very like powerful, you know? Like sometimes like people can say that, oh, like we're so much in our heads that it's not to the point where it's like detrimental. And this is really like the culmination of taking that like spiritual Pisces energy and bringing it into this fierce Aries energy and allowing it to really transform our lives from the inside out. Like she's not worried about it. Yeah, there are things up in flames. Like, so what I'm seeing is that, and she's got like a really like hardcore shadow cast on like one side of her face. So we're kind of like in this place of like balancing our light and our dark, and it's like in our mental capacity. Like, so this is our month of taking everything that we've learned spiritually last year and applying it to the good and the bad, like applying it to both sides of us. And I love how it's like half of her face is dark and half of her face is in the light, because that's a typical Gemini thing, right? Like, we are the epitome of dualistic energy. And the power that comes with having a dualistic mind is to never be taken off guard. You know, like when you understand duality so well as we do as Geminis, so much so that we live it, like consciously or unconsciously. The only thing that it takes for the conscious or the unconscious to become conscious is for us to become aware. And when because by nature we want to be mentally stimulated, all it takes is for us to pay the fuck attention. You know, like a Gemini that can like pay attention to their thoughts, their emotions, and how the world around them is reacting to it is powerful beyond measure, right? Like we see it with Donald Trump, like not like commending him or anything like that, but you see how, like, you know, everything that a lot of the things he said he was gonna do, like he's done, right? Like especially if it's in the business sector, like he's done. He's literally done things that like no one else in the president has ever done, right? So much so that people want to impeach him, like they want to impeach him, right? He's the first like president who's ever actually like gone through an impeachment process and actually like went through, right? And at least in the House, I think, or something like that. But his power is in the fact that he's aware. He's aware of his best parts and he's aware of his worst parts. And he chooses the hat to wear, right? Like he chooses the facade to show to everyone for a specific reason, right? Like he knows when to put on his like white hat. He knows when to take that off and like get dirty. He knows, right? And so like as a Gemini, this is our month to truly master what it is we came here to master. And that is like pure, unadulterated awareness of both aspects of us, right? Of that light aspect in us and that dark aspect in us. And what we have that most people don't is we have this childlike energy. We have this ability to look at the bad, but through the eyes of a child, right? Like through this like playful energy, because we know not to take life so seriously. We know that when people take life so seriously, it like, you know, they get stuck in ruts. So a lot of this is like, we also like what we bring with our own energy into this that really catalyzes this is our ability to stay in that childlike energy, which is going to really help us to balance that Aries energy with the Pisces energy of this card, right? Because Pisces can be a little bit like aloof and can be a little bit like, you know, dreadful sometimes, you know, like going amidst staying underwater for too long, right? Like sometimes it can feel bogged down. But if we can enact that like natural childlike just wonder that we have, right, and allow like these things in our life to be transformed, then we can truly step into our power this month and start the month off with a bang. Like, I'm so happy about this card. This is a great card. I will say too that the card that like followed it was the Two of Cups. So when I did my own personal 2020 review, the Two of Cups came up for me personally. So how this relates to your relationships and to your abundance, like keep that in mind, you know, keep that on the forefront of your mind, because like we're Geminis, everyone is attracted to us right now. Everyone is like, you know, just enamored with us. So what transformations do we need to see in our relationships, in our, you know, connections with others? Because being a Gemini with two sides, right, and being so dualistic, we really need like that external, we really crave like other people's perspective because we learn so much from them, right? So now let's get into our archetypes. I'm excited about this. Oh, the archetypes, the archetypes, the archetypes. I literally got this deck and the spell deck today just for these specifically because I was like, I really want to like incorporate archetypes into this year's reading, because like I'm not a full-on tarot reader, you know, like, because it gets confusing for me when I try to do more than one card with tarot, right? Like I can do it, but this to me is just so much more fun, right? Like archetypes are truly the language of spirit, right? Archetypes are patterns, archetypes are symbols, archetypes, you know, are around us every day whether we notice it or not. So Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, what archetypes are we dealing with today? What archetypes are we needing to ground and focus on January 2020? Should I pull this one? Ooh, I love this, the Vision. This is definitely our card, right? This is honestly what was missing from the last card, right? Like, no one is a Queen of Wands without an MFing vision, right? Like, we're just not. You have two owls over here perched side by side. You have two hands that are folded, like in this, like, kind of like prayer, like, you know, taking my cards, looking at my cards or whatever. And then there's this like vision of like a peak, like a pinnacle of mountain ranges and a crescent moon. And then underneath is like the balancing of the light and the dark that it takes to get there, right? So here's another dualistic card that we have, but this dualistic nature is our power for 2020 in January, right? So whatever transformation, spiritual transformations that's trying to come through for us for January 2020, like, we're taking that knowledge of the good and the bad, of the high and the low, the higher and the lower aspects, and we're using it to create a portal into that peak pinnacle place that we're going, right? So all that transformation requires a vision, because like, what in the heck are you gonna like sit among the flames for if not for something that's worthy of you getting that motherfucking hot, you know? Like, that's pretty effing hot. So let's see where the vision is and what the high and low aspects are of the vision in this deck, in this thing. 175. The vision. When in the light, it's potent imagination, it's synchronicity and trust. When in the dark, it's disconnected from art and dreams, it's listless and it's aimless. Wow, if that's not so us. Like, right? Like, you can tell, like, when you're a Gemini, you can tell when you've lost your vision, because you're simply just thinking to think. You're simply just like consuming information to consume information. And like, this is your ultimate test this month. It's like, can you realize like when you're doing something consciously or unconsciously, and can you catch yourself in the way that, you know, like, you stay in synchronicity versus getting lost in like Facebook or Instagram, or, you know, like the 7 different tabs that you have open in your head of possible things that you could do this month, you know? Like, are you going to hold the vision, you know? And like, what does holding the vision bring up in you, you know? Like, can you stay consciously aware with that childlike sense of wonder that we talked about before, of what this transformation is bringing out in you, you know? What is needing to go? What is needing to stay? What are you willing to go through to get there? And if this is like one of those things, like, if you haven't set intentions for your year yet, if you haven't decided like where you want to be at the end of this year, or how you want your life to look at the end of this year, like, this is the time to do it. It is, the time is now. 1,001% the time is now. And like, for some people, like, how have your relationships gone conscious or unconscious? How's your relationship with yourself gone conscious or unconscious? Let's be honest, it's Geminis. Like, the Two of Cups, 9 times out of 10 can be our own relationship with ourselves. All right, so January 2020 spell deck. What do you have for the Geminis? Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's see. Dude, this spell deck goes hard. So, like, I used it for the first time today, and I was just like, holy crap. Oh, okay. So, it wouldn't be a Gemini reading, right, if there wasn't a decision-making little spell, right? So this is called the Scales of Justice. It says a spell for decision-making, legal matters, or when situations require balancing, right? So on a Thursday or Saturday, find a spot outdoors, draw the Scales of Justice onto the earth with your wand, write a list of pros and cons underneath the scales, walk in a circle 3 times around the scales while burning any of the following herbs: oak, witch hazel, skullcap, I want to say cinquefoil, invoke Lady Justice. So say out loud, with your blindfold and sword of truth, let justice prevail with a fair outcome for your name or the situation. Then burn both lists and say, let the decision be made swiftly, so mote it be. Because, you know, as Geminis, we can be in our mind way too much. Like, and we can, like, overthink things. So if you're having issues with, like, you know, legal matters or making a decision on what you want to do, this is great. Like, if you've had so many projects and you don't know what to focus on this year, this is great. I know for me, like, one of the things I was like, should I go into comedy? Like, is that something that I should do? It would just be honestly so fun, right? Like, or should I be like making these YouTube videos, right? Pros and cons can help you make a decision. So thank you so much for watching. If you are really vibing this video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do in the comments. Just be nice. Just be loving. If you're wanting to connect further, if you're wanting a reading, I do Reiki. I'm trying like past life readings in with my Reiki so I can tune into like where these blocks are coming from in different lifetimes and really help you to like understand from a different perspective maybe a pattern that you're having with certain blocks that you may be having. Or if you're just wanting a reading, I will leave all that stuff in my website in the information box below. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this with me today, and come back next month for February 2020. Talk to you guys later. Bye.